Bienvenidos a The Apicurios, el podcast de las APIs para todos los apicuriosos del mundo. Comenzamos. Muy buenas a todos y bienvenidos de nuevo a la casita de las ratitas apicuriosas.
¿Qué tal? Otra semana, ya vamos a por el cuarto. Esta aventura empieza a coger ritmo y muy interesante hoy el tema que tenemos entre manos.
Estamos hablando de Happy Days y de Happy Days en su versión más profunda y más top, que es en París. La agenda no te la acabas.
Son 3 días, ¿no? Este año, como siempre en diciembre, es en París, Happy Days París, y son los días la semana que viene, el 3, 4 y 5, y que se hace en el CNIT de Forest, ¿vale? Que es un centro comercial que hay ahí en París. 3 días a tope, ya veremos un poco todo lo que hay, pero muchos speakers, hay muchas conferencias interesantes, muchos tracks distintos. Bueno, tiene muy buena pinta, la verdad, como cada año.
Y este año, y aprovechando el nacimiento del podcast, no podíamos olvidarnos de hacer este podcast justo la semana antes del evento para que la gente pudiera organizarse qué tracks
Exacto.
seguir, ¿verdad?
Vamos a ver un poco qué hay que visitar y que ver, ¿no? Un poco. Yo creo que mejor, ¿no? Que el propio chairman o founder, que es Mehdi Medjaoui.
Entre nosotros le llamamos Mehdi. Como bien sabes, tuvimos la oportunidad de compartir mesa en API Addicts Day en Madrid con él. Estuvimos hablando de varias iniciativas y sabemos que está súper ocupado, sobre todo porque es la última semana y tiene que cerrar muchísimos temas con el evento que empieza el martes que viene. Mejor que él, nadie nos va a poder explicar qué viene en esta nueva edición.
Exacto. Vamos a ver, ¿no? Qué nos explica y qué nos abre y qué no. Más que nada también que se explica del evento, ¿no? Porque al final estos eventos no tienes muy claro para qué sirve, o sea, qué puedes sacar y bueno, yo creo que es un buen momento para que nos explique toda la potencia. Nosotros por suerte ya hemos estado en varios y realmente sí que hemos aprendido mucho networking y realmente, bueno, es un sitio muy recomendable para ir si te peleas con todo este mundo de las APIs, la verdad.
Pues sí, yo no lo dilataría más, tiraría directamente con Mehdi, así que yo sin más empezaría a darle paso a Mehdi.
Perfecto, vamos a ello.
Thank you, Mehdi, to be here with us. I know you are very busy this day because next week is the big day. We are going to be very quickly in order that you have time to do your thing. So thank you very much to be with us.
No, thank you for having me.
So we have many questions. The first one is regarding with API days. Question is, what API days?
So API Days is the first international conference on APIs, as we say in Spanish, in APIs. Yeah, we talk about industry, we talk about business, we talk about technology of APIs. And we do that in 10 different countries every year since 2012. We gather approximately between 1,000 and 4,000 people per event. And it's really a conference from real use case to practitioners. It's really a conference for API practitioners on the cloud side, developers, also ad managers.
Just one thing. If I'm not wrong, I think that the Paris event is the biggest one, right?
Yeah, the conference has been created in Paris in 2012. It was the first event. And so let's say it's the mother event, right? The original event. So this is our biggest event with 4,000 people that will be happening actually next week. So yeah, it will be sold out. It's probably this Friday. And yes, all the API community will gather. And I think also you.
We will be there. So I have another question, but I don't know if Alex.
No, one question. And now you have many events spread around the world. No, it's a different conference in Australia. No, it's expanded.
Yeah, we try to. We have different conferences over the world. We try to respect a kind of editorial line. So we try to have a kind of a core skeleton of program that is approximately the same topics on every city. But we also want to represent the community, the local community. So if, for example, in Australia, in Singapore, in USA, or in Europe, topics are different. For example, regulations can be different, on APIs, for example, in banking or insurance. Or if, in some countries, there are more tech than in other countries that are they're lagging. So we try to have a program that represents the local community. So we approximately half of the program is an editorial line and half of the program is community driven. So they are all the same, but different.
It's clear. What is, I have one question regarding that. What is this much more techy city?
So Paris is the most technical one because we gather everyone. So for example, we will have a track dedicated to OpenAPI specification, one async API conference, one JSON schema conference, one GraphQL conference at API days. So that will be a lot more technical topics in Paris. But it's true, when we used to have events also in San Francisco, for example, the content was state of the art compared to other cities where, sometimes people were just like trying to understand the trends. In San Francisco, they were definitely making the trends. So that was really different. So it depends on the size of the event because you have more topics with larger events, but also the local tech communities. But for example, in Spain, when we used to have events in Spain, Spain has a really strong developer community. So these events were more developer oriented than, for example, in Melbourne, which is a little bit more corporate.
You say something about Spain. When we will have again API days here in Spain?
So we would love to be back in Spain, but we need a local partner. Every time our conferences is, it's like when you decentralize an architecture from a centralized governance to decentralized governance, you need someone in an organization that is the owner. So we're looking for someone to own it in Spain and in the Spanish world. This is why I flew to API Addicts, because we're discussing about why not making a joint event together. So yeah, but we want to be back. We want to be back in Spain, in the Mediterranean world, and we would love to do it with API Addicts and others.
We will talk about that next week. Focus on next week. The theme of the event is the future API stack for mass innovation. What does it mean, and is it aligned with the current trends in the technology and business?
Oh yes. So the theme of the event is the future API stack for mass innovation, because especially because of the last 2 years and a half, and generative AI coming, we've seen so many things disrupted by generative AI for APIs: design, documentation, development, testing, monitoring, security, management, promotion, discovery, versioning. So many things like SDK generation, integration. So there is a new API stack with new tools, for writing documentation, for so many different aspects that enable new business case, new end user use cases. So this is why we really wanted to look at the innovation in API space, because that powers the next generation of application. And there is also innovation in the specs, in the standards, the technologies. gRPC, GraphQL, JSON schema, async API, OpenAPI are also innovating. OpenAPI just made Arazzo, and now they're doing a layout. I think it's the last one. So every spec is also innovating. So it's innovating in the standards, innovation in the technologies, and innovation in the use case. So for that, we really wanted to represent the stack, the new API stack for mass innovation, because every company now wants to innovate because of the new AI possibilities, and APIs will be the key and the angular stone of that innovation. So if you don't understand APIs, how to build them, how to promote them, design them, to create the next generation of application, LLM powered application or not, you will fail. So this is why API is the core of that mindset.
What new features have been introduced in these days compared with previous years?
So innovating in the conference, you mean, right?
Yeah.
So we will have more tracks. We'll have 2 tracks dedicated to AI, for API lifecycle management. So API management and AI, or API lifecycle management and AI. So that's new things. The 2 new things also is that the API days has grown So now we have different conferences inside the conference. So for example, we had so many topics that the big monolith that API Days was, like talking about every topic, now we have different microservice conferences inside. For example, we have Generation AI, which is just on Gen AI. We have Green IO, that is just on green IT and sustainability. And we have all these specs tracks, a GraphQL dedicated a conference called GraphQL Day, API Security Day, JSON Schema Conference, Async API Conference, Open API Conference. So all of these are kind of a microservices conference in a big monolith conference that was API Days. And of course, we still have the main monolith, which is the classic API Days conferences with all the API topics. But we have API Days with this size has been able to be a platform for other conferences to be organized. So let's say we opened our conference APIs for others to plug and be a platform and a distribution channel and marketplace for other community conferences. So that's really the innovation. Some that we build ourselves, like Generation AI, Green IO, some that others are building on top of us.
So I don't know if we will have enough time to see all the things. So do you know if it will be recorded?
Yeah, we ask every speaker to record their session before the event. So like this, we can release all the videos when the event is finished. So instead of waiting 2, 3, 4 weeks for recordings, we ask every speaker to record their sessions before. So like this, just when the event is done, we have all the videos that are recorded and people have the videos right at the end of the event. So if they miss something, they don't forget and they go busy with Christmas and stuff, they can see that the next day.
2 questions. One question, which speakers or key panels do you think will be the most relevant this year?
It's really difficult because we have 250 speakers. Yeah. And but
For example, Arazzo, it's a new specification.
Arazzo is new, and it's very interesting about how you can orchestrate and do API workflows. So that's quite interesting. I would recommend everything if you're interested into API lifecycle management, everything about AI and APIs to build APIs. That's extremely interesting too. We have a lot of use cases. We have banks, we have transport, logistics, supply chain, automotive companies that will be there also to explain what they have done. So I really recommend like retail companies, for example, who will explain what they have done. So I recommend that. And I will just also finish by the 2 keynotes I think that are interesting. So we have Mark O'Neill from Gartner, about the latest trends on API management. But we also have Gregor Horpe. He's the author of the book Platform Strategy. And he's a specialist about distributed architecture. He wrote the book Enterprise Integration Patterns 20 years ago. That was a bestseller. And he will deliver a keynote to also about the event about what's new in the platform strategy mindset and how APIs fit into that game. So yeah, a lot of interesting. It's really hard for me to name a few, but there are things that are quite interesting.
Okay, thank you. And another question is there anything completely new in this edition, such a workshop, format, podcast, or collaboration?
Yes, there will be 4 things out there that are new, but at least, so first, except the format of conferences that I talked about previously, one thing that will be new is that we have, before the event, official Open API certifications. So if you want to be officially certified on Open API specification, like from the Open API initiative, you will be able to register to these workshops which deliver you official certification delivered by them. So that's interesting. It's a partnership we built. So there's still some tickets available. So that's the first thing, official Open API certification. The second thing that will be new is that we will have also we'll have an animation where you will be able to play against chess grandmasters with AI. So you will be able to be helped with AI. So one full day, if you love chess, you will be able to be helped with AI to try to beat chess grandmasters. That would be one of the big animation if you love that. So that's something we try for people to have fun and discover how AI can actually help you to do outstanding stuff. What we will have also is, so your question was like, what was the innovation during the event, right?
Yes. Is there anything completely new in this edition?
Yeah, we'll have a hackathon actually. We will have a hackathon that is, we used to have one, but now we'll have a hackathon which is specifically with Orange Telecom, with Telefonica, with Google Gemini, and with Microsoft. about mixing Gen AI and camera APIs. So camera are like kind of a 5G 5G on demand APIs. So, for example, if you just have 3 bars of 5G and an application needs 5 bars, you can pay a few cents to get more bars of 5G to make the application work. Imagine drones or autonomous cars or stuff like that. So we'll have a hackathon that will be new at the event. And I had 2 other ideas that left my head, but I will find them. There will be really many things happening.
Yes, regarding the location of the conference,
The location of the meeting, will be the same as last year, but it will be we last year we took half of the full needs, which is the same the name of the event, and now we're taking the full one, so it will be really packed. All the room will be full. So please come early if you want to sit at the room you want.
okay, understood. We will do. So another thing regarding that, it's what kind of impact do you expect that API days will have on the tech and on the tech community, and of course on the business community? What do you expect about this impact?
No, the impact we have and we had and we want to continue to have is the impact on the mindset. We want people who come at APIs to discover what others are doing, what's new in the API landscape. And so when they go back to their office or when at their desk or they talk to their team, they are able to say, okay, this is the right way to do things. This is what others are doing. This is what I've learned. And so they can diffuse and spread the API mindset to really stop thinking like in terms of integration, but things in terms of consumption, to stop thinking in terms of technical interface, but thinking in terms of products. Stop talking just about versioning, but about strategy, right? Platform strategy. So all this stuff, turn API into just a technical topics into a business enablement topic that will be able to make to bridge the gap between the tech and the business. So this is really what we want to have. I think we've done that over the last 10 years, and we hope we continue to do that over the next 10.
On top of that, I have one question. How is the success of the event measured? I mean, what are the metrics that you are using to know that all the things that we are going to do are the right one and it's working?
So the success of the event is a few things. First, the attendance. Like, do people find the program and find the location and find the event worth to attend? So if it's sold out, it's a success. Attendance rate. The second thing is the quality of speakers. If people consider if all the rooms are full and people love the speakers, it's just really feedbacks and knowledge and no product pitches or stuff like that. It's if people love the content. Then we have other metrics as a conference. Is that are the attendees happy and they will want to be back? Are the sponsors happy because they found that this is the right persons who have real projects and that so they can talk about the future of their products, and yes, also an overall feeling of the mission accomplished about our role in the community. So this is all the metrics and all of that. Not losing money as a conference. That will be all the metrics that we're tracking.
I think that it's a big one. So just a couple of questions more, and we will finish. Could you say something in Spanish to all the API community here in Spain and in Latam, in order to say that the people go to Paris next week?
Okay, I'll try. You take me. I would have prepared that, but no worries. So, APIDES es la primera conferencia en las APIs en el mundo. Okay, so por favor, eres bienvenido en París. Eres bienvenido en París para APIDES. Y aprender session on las APIs.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry for the trick.
My Spanish is really rust, but I will do efforts if we do an event in Spain.
That's clear. So another thing, how long do you think that API days will be in our life?
So we never know, right? We never know. But let's say the APIs are just software interfaces. So we consider API Days as a conference on system design, interface design, architecture design. It will always be there. We will always need to connect software to other software. We'll never build all the software together. So it's a conference about supply chain in the digital world. We will always need that. So it's not a question about REST, GraphQL, gRPC, async API, JSON. It's not a conference about that. It's a global conference about software architecture and software design. And at the end, it will stay. So yeah, I don't see any end yet. We just maybe need to reinvent the topics, reinvent like organizations, when you have technical debt and little by little you replace this debt into new software, and now we will replace all topics into new topics. But this is not a conference attached to a technology. For example, when you had every time you have a conference attached to technology, when the technology disappears, the conference disappears. No, we didn't attach to technology. We attached it to a mindset of design and architecture.
That's clear. I'm agree with this. Do you think that if you are not in API Days Paris next week, you are not in the API world?
So if you are not in API Days for personal reasons, I'm sorry for you. But if you could be there, and if you did not find the time, the energy, the resource to attend, I think you will miss 1 year of worldwide learning on APIs. And so you will spend months to recover the few days of learning that you will get. So if you are too busy, you should come, because you will be more busy. You will be busier next year, and you will spend a lot of time doing things that you would have avoided to do because you would have gone in the right direction before. So there is no, if you're in the space, if you're an API practitioner, there is really, really few reasons there is only personal reasons to not come. For business reasons, I think you have no reason to come, unless you want to spend 6 months of doing things that you would have done differently if you were attending.
So thank you very much, Mehdi, for your time. We will see you next week, and you will pay the bill. And
Yeah,
so
muchas gracias, la gente.
perfecto. Pues,
Thank you for
thank you for your time, and I know you are very busy right now, and this is it's a pleasure for us to be here with you. So thank you so much for your time.
Busy preparing, and everyone is busy attending. So we're all busy.
Thanks. Thank you so much. See you. Bueno, Alex, pues madre mía, hemos intentado traducir, pero yo creo que no tenía mucho sentido. Esperemos que hacemos 4 pinceladas de los detalles más importantes de la y nada, y damos la noticia de que al final, después de hablar con Mehdi, nos ha pasado unas invitaciones, así que si alguien quiere invitaciones al evento, no al viaje a París, está claro. Si alguien quiere, pues nada, se puede dirigir nos puede enviar un mensaje, ya sea al Twitter o ya sea a nuestro Gmail. Sí, mails ya tenemos, ¿vale? Se está puesto en las notas del programa. Creo que es apicuriospodcast@gmail.com o de apicuriospodcast@gmail.com. Y nada, estaremos encantados de pasarles un voucher para que les haga gratuita la entrada. Como ha dicho Mehdi, ojo, porque de aquí al viernes va a estar súper lleno, o sea que si queréis tener esa entrada, pues ir rápido en solicitarla. Y así, bueno, ¿cómo lo has visto toda la entrevista, Alex?
Pues muy bien, yo creo que nos ha dado un punto de vista, bueno, de qué es API Days, porque al final sí es una conferencia de APIs, pero oye, de qué se habla, es de developers, de negocio, pues nos ha puesto un poco en contexto en todo esto, es un poco de todo, como hemos visto, y o sea que abarca un poco toda la visión desde developers, charlas más técnicas de Open API, de cosas más de business, más estratégicas, más, bueno, todo lo que envuelve el tema de APIs. Yo creo que nos ha dado este punto de vista de qué es el API Days. Luego, pues eso, que realmente API Days en París fue donde empezó todo, ¿vale? Donde donde empezó todo, pero que sí que es verdad que ha ido creciendo y ahora tiene Australia, Singapur, creo que. Bueno, realmente tienen repartidos en London para la parte más de banking. Bueno, realmente es un evento que ha ido evolucionando mucho bueno, ahora,
Sí, la verdad, pero al final parece ser que el resumen global de todo el año
sí,
se hace en París, y que la flor y nata de la industria de las APIs y de las integraciones y el software de integración, etcétera, pues se da cita en este evento en París. Y lo que me ha parecido también muy interesante es el hecho de que la filosofía de APIs, de API Days, no es tan asociada a la tecnología. Al final ha comentado que decía que daba exactamente igual que habláramos de redes, de gRPC, de Async API, de GraphQL, de lo que sea, sino que todo eso es un mindset, una forma de pensar, que mientras haya pues ingeniería, arquitectura de software, etcétera, pues siempre van a estar ahí presentes. Y la verdad es que están teniendo
sí, al
muchísimo éxito.
final es todo el ecosistema, ¿no? Un poco el 360 de todo, o sea, desde arquitectura hasta negocio, vendors, bueno, es un poco todo.
Sí, de hecho, al final le hemos preguntado que si no ibas a París, si realmente no estabas en el mundo de las APIs, y ha dicho que, a no ser que sea un tema personal, no es justificable perdérselo, ¿no? Entonces, estaba claro que es el evento por más allá de este sector. Por otro lado, también hemos comentado varios temas, y es que hay bastantes novedades este año, ¿vale? Hay novedades desde que hay 2 tracks de inteligencia artificial, desde que hay una hackathon, desde que también evidentemente está el track de OpenAI, que siempre está ahí, y que OpenAI Initiative, que siempre están ahí los compañeros. Y bueno,
Este año hay una
la verdad
certificación, ¿no? ¿Has explicado? De OpenAPI.
sí, pero sí, lo que no he querido es ser un poco malo. Esta certificación de OpenAPI es de Tocotó, ¿vale? Y tienes un 20% de descuento, en el día de los API Days, ¿vale? Pero, claro, aún así tienes que pagarla, ¿vale? Entonces, bueno, tampoco quería entrar ahí en más detalles porque, claro, era un poco atraco a mano armada, ¿vale? Pero sí, es cierto que este tipo de certificaciones pues se van a dar este año, y me parece una muy buena iniciativa. Quizá, qui- sí, me parece súper interesante. Y no sé, ¿qué más podemos destacar de lo que ha dicho? Ha comentado que le gustaría algún día volver a Barcelona, bueno, Barcelona, España. Vamos a repetirlo. Ha dicho que le gustaría, ha dicho que le gustaría volver a España, a hacer el evento algún día, que actualmente vamos, como ya sabéis, en la última edición de la mano con Apiadix, pero bueno, que quizá el Api Days Mediterráneo o alguna cosa así se podía ejecutar aquí. Y bueno, no sé qué más, así. Bueno, evidentemente el número de asistentes va a ser súper grande. De hecho, ha dicho que si queremos ir a algún track en concreto, que seamos puntuales o nos quedaremos sin silla. Entonces, bueno, también una de las cosas que se nota mucho en el crecimiento del evento, es que el año pasado había medio salón, o media de todo este recinto, medio recinto estaba ocupado por Happy Days y el resto no, y este año está completo. Así
Tiene
que
tiene pinta de ser
creo que
bastante grande este año, la verdad.
así que la semana que viene, cuando estemos allí, pues ya traeremos información fresquita y veremos qué tal está funcionando todo.
Vamos a ver, va la semana que viene, recopilamos info allí y os la traeremos para el siguiente, ¿no? Para el 5, creo que es, ya me pierdo, pero sí, sería el 5.
Este será el próximo, será el quinto. Perfecto. Así que bueno, pues yo creo que podemos cerrar ya.
Este pequeño especial Happy Days, ¿no? Un poco que hemos hecho.
Lo podíamos dejar a los oyentes sin el previo de Happy Days. Y bueno, yo espero que haya sido del interés de los apicuriosos. Y bueno, yo creo que con esto nos despedimos.
Perfecto. Pues nos vemos allí.
Pues, nos vemos por ahí, así que
Venga,
hasta
hasta luego.
Stop.